gentlemen, big shooters, heavy hitters, and long steppers. This is the Dudecool Motovlog, episode 7, motorcycle therapy. No, I'm not talking about taking your motorcycle to see a psychiatrist because it's depressed. I'm talking about using your motorcycle as a replacement for a counselor if you're feeling depressed or sad or stressed or just a little bit blah. You know, you don't even have to be like full on, full-fledged. You could just be feeling just a little bit off. Talking about that. So, first of all, I want to preface this by saying that it's never really a replacement for those kind of things. I mean, there are people that absolutely do need those, and that is legitimate. And you should never ride a motorcycle if you're going to be in a situation where, like, you really just need to think some things through. Like, you should not be thinking things through on a motorcycle, because then you get distracted and you're not paying attention to the road, and that's when bad things happen. In other words, if you're not paying attention to the road, you're gonna have a bad time. Little South Park reference for you there, people. And so, yeah, that's, you know, you don't get on a motorcycle to think things through. You get on a motorcycle to stop thinking about everything else, because what you should be thinking about is road conditions, and you ought to be thinking about, you know, keeping your eyes open for what drivers are doing. You know, what's going on with the road. Are there any potholes, or are there any, you know, other road hazards going on? You know, is someone about to pull out in front of you? Like, you need to be focused on the road. So you can't be, you know, kind of working stuff out while you're riding, because that's just, you know, that's a recipe for disaster. But, you know, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about instances where you just really want to forget about something for a while, or, you know, maybe you're stressed out and you kind of want to let that go. So really, riding a motorcycle isn't about, you know, going for a ride to think. It's about going for a ride to not think. You know, it's about going for a ride to let everything go. And that, I think, is, you know, an important philosophy. You know, it's one of the things that I loved about the movie Fight Club, which is my favorite movie, is that one of the philosophies that Tyler Durden talked about before he went all like sociopathic, you know, was the importance of letting go. And that, I think it is really important to learn to let things go, because if you hold on to things, they can really just eat you up inside, and that's just not good for anyone. It's like, you know, people get all caught up in worrying about things, and it's like, worrying never really did good for anyone, because, you know, whatever's going to happen is going to happen regardless of whether or not you worry about it. So the mere fact of worrying about something is pretty much useless. You know, it's not going to do any good. Now, if you instead of just sitting around worrying, you also like take action on something, that's a kind of a different story. It's, you know, it's then you put it in action, you actually do something. But just the simple fact of worrying is pretty useless. But yeah, so when I talk about motorcycle therapy, I absolutely don't want people like getting out there and starting to like work stuff out and think about, you know, their dating problems or their work problems, family problems, health problems, stuff like that. Like, it's not a you know, if you want to think things through, go for like a stroll by the river. I mean, we got a nice little, you know, got the nice Chattahoochee River right here. You know, wherever you live, there's probably a good place to go for a stroll. So that's, you know, if you want to think something through, do that, because then you're not on a, you know, you're not in a dangerous situation like riding a motorcycle, where your focus really needs to be on riding the motorcycle. So I don't want people to get it twisted. It's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about letting everything go. And that's, you know, sometimes we all need to do that. Sometimes we just need to let things go for a little while, and just kind of almost like a mood reboot, or a mind reboot in a way, you know. It's kind of like Windows. Sometimes it gets a little bit slow, it clogs it all up, and you got to do a reboot. So that's what I'm talking about. Don't know what's going on there. Yeah, like, it's riding a motorcycle though is really good for just kind of letting it all go for a little while. Because yeah, I mean, if you're riding the way you should be riding, then you're focused on what's going on with the road, what's coming up ahead, what are all these drivers doing, and so that's kind of, you know, you don't have time to think about much else, and that's really where you want to be sometimes, is like you want something to distract you. And so when you're a distracted rider, it's not that you're distracted from the process of riding, it's you're distracted by the process of riding. You know, it's like you're not, you know, per se a distracted rider, but you're a rider distracted from life. And that, I think, is the more accurate way of putting it, is that, you know, the ride kind of takes your mind off of life and puts your mind on the ride, which is really where it should be when you're riding. Because let's face it, folks, it is a little bit dangerous out here. You got to keep your wits about you. You got to keep your head on a swivel when you're riding. So one of my favorite new shows, it's called Adam Ruins Everything, and it basically talks about, you know, kind of takes a different look at things, and, you know, things that we kind of believe in, or things that we think are true, how they're actually not really true. And the one last night was talking about like how cars have, you know, how cars have become a whole lot safer. But what's happened is, because the cars are safer, people get overconfidence and they don't drive as safe. And so really, they're actually not any safer than they used to be. I mean, the car by themselves is, but the whole process of driving is no safer than it used to be, because people have traded in safe driving for safer cars because they think the cars are going to protect them, you know, if they get in an accident, so they don't put as much focus into avoiding an accident. You know, whereas, you know, when you're on a motorcycle, you kind of have to be concerned with that, because if you get in an accident, it ain't gonna be pretty. And so you gotta really have like shallow in focus out here when you're riding, which kind of ties it back into it. Because, you know, if you got shallow in focus on riding, if you're scanning the road, looking for obstacles up ahead, looking for what cars are doing, you know, you're not thinking about how this guy's treating you, how this woman's treating you, things that are going on at work, drama that you have with friends or family. All you're thinking about is the road. It's just you and the bike out there, baby, and all the other drivers. You ain't got time for the drama, baby. You ain't got time for the drama. Whoa! No drama, baby. Save the drama for your llama. Woo! If you've got a llama. And if you don't, well, you need to get one. Are we gonna make it through? I think we will. I believe, yes, we have. Yes, we can, baby. Yes, we can. We can make it through. We can do it, baby. We got it. Oh, yeah. I don't know if we're going to go quite all the way down this time. We'll have to see how the traffic is looking. But at least it's good to be out riding, getting that motorcycle therapy. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just thinking about the ride. So good out in the wind. Oh yeah. This road's a little bit bumpy, but that's all right. Yeah, I think riding, you know, it's really just, it really gives you that perfect opportunity to escape from, you know, from life for a little while, and put kind of that Shaolin focus, you know, that undivided attention on something. And every time I'm done riding, I feel so much better, you know, even if I'm like stressed out or whatever, like I just feel so much better. So I am not going to go this way. Once I get a break, I am going to go up into here. Make my turnaround because I don't really want to wait in that big long line just to go somewhere. I'm just trying to be out here riding, people. Let me not block the path of these runners here. Let's see, we got some cars coming. We good to roll. All right. Good to roll. But yeah, already I just, you know, and today don't really have a whole lot on my mind, you know, but it's still, even if you're just kind of, it's not that you're really off or anything, it's just kind of like, yeah, well, you know, whatever. I still always feel better about riding. It's like, you know, it's kind of like a reboot for, you know, for whatever's going on. You just kind of let it all go. And then if you get really good at it, you only let back in what you want back in. So you let the bad stuff go, let the good stuff in. Sometimes it's a challenge, but I think it's a challenge worth kind of, you know, worth practicing on, because it can really, really make a difference. But so that's it. If you need to, if you want to change your life, get a motorcycle. That's right. And on that happy note, I think we're gonna go ahead and end the Motovlog on the happy note. So remember to ease up on the throttle and hold on to the bottle. But don't drink and ride, baby. And don't be distracted when you ride. Remember, it's to think about riding and nothing else, not to be thinking about other stuff while you're trying to ride. Be safe out there, folks. This is Mr. Dudecool.